We are at Ghostly Productions today for Friday the 13th, where they don't just sell Halloween, they create it. From custom masks and creepy props to one-of-a-kind horror decor, let's see what twisted creations are awaiting inside this door.
All right, so I'm Payton. I'm the owner and operator of Ghostly Productions here in Owensboro, Kentucky. We've got collectibles, we've got masks, we've got costumes, props, decorations, literally anything Halloween or horror related, we've got it right here under the same roof. So we've actually got everything kind of divided up by rooms. So one of the first things you see whenever you visit Ghostly Productions is a wall of custom masks. And these are masks that I've personally made. All of these started out as clay sculpts. One of the other new items we've started doing are the bungee pumpkins. So it's a fun little scare prop. So that's what he looks like. Fun part of him is one of the next things you'll see here up front is all the collectibles. So we have a lot of collectible figures, like mass-produced collectible stuff from Trick or Treat Studios. It's one of our main retailers. So new stuff like the Goosebumps masks, the 1/6 scale figures, the Scream Greats lineup, even 1-to-1 scale replicas like Gremlin props and Chucky dolls, Freddy gloves. One of my favorite new ones is the Ghostbusters Slimer wall breaker, and if I had room on my wall in my collection room, I guarantee that guy would be there.
Absolutely.
But at the current state, I don't have room because it's filled up with masks at the moment. One of the really cool things that I'm really proud to be able to stock in here are some vintage masks for sale. So we've actually got some pretty rare items up on the top shelf. So a 1977 Ghost Glow Gravedigger, 1980s foam-filled Yeti, 1978 Gravedigger, 1979 Dom Post Overreactor, and a 1990s latex skull. So some pretty rare pieces. It's kind of really rare to have that many rare masks all under the same roof, and that kind of takes us to the next thing, which is the mask hallway. So all of our mass-produced masks are all this way. And these are from Trick or Treat Studios, Zagoni, Fun World. Mainly all of your licensed stuff is gonna be here. So your Michael Myers, your Terrifier, Ghostface, Leatherface, all of that is there. I always say we've got closer to 200 masks than we do to 100 masks in stock, and that's pretty much true at any point in the year. Ghostface, you can never go wrong with Ghostface, and those have been super popular, especially after we hosted the original Ghostface here for autographs last year. You know, this room is the costume room. Now, this is the room that is constantly changing. We're constantly adding new costumes. Especially once we get closer into Halloween season, you're going to see the costumes really start to change. You're going to see a lot of new characters. That typically happens mid to late summer. One of the other big things that is incredibly popular are the vintage Halloween cutouts. B-stool or bi-stool, however you pronounce that. This is the company that made these back in 1960s, 1970s. They still produce them, so super cool to be able to have those in store. And as you can see, there are some empty hooks up here, and that's because literally anytime these come into stock, they are going out the door. It's like they go out the door quicker than I can keep them on the shelf. So
good problem to have.
Right. So people love their vintage Halloween stuff, which is super cool for me because I'm such a huge vintage Halloween fan. If you visit my house during Halloween season, you're going to see stuff like this. It's like very 1970s, 1980s style Halloween. There's just something about that, like the nostalgic factor. It's like, I don't know if it's because it's like you see it in so many backgrounds of movies. Instantly coming to mind is Halloween 4 with Vincent Drugstore, and that sequence that shows all the vintage masks and all the different Halloween decorations in it. There's just something about that that's just instant childhood trick-or-treating, and it's just there's something fun about it.
For Friday the 13th, comment below to enter to win a prize. Where are these guys from? Who made these?
In here is the animatronic room, so it's gonna get loud because these guys are gonna start screaming at us. But these go off on motion sensor, so we've got some mass-produced stuff from companies like Morris Costumes. With this guy, you got the Soothsayer Witch over here. You also have custom-made stuff like this big guy in the corner.
Wondering what he was exactly, yeah.
And this is our newest creation. This is actually one of our animatronics that we've personally made. So that's one thing we've ventured into, is doing animatronic work with a lot of our pumpkin props or some of our masks, is making them move, making them talk, animate them. And that's our latest one.
He's singing to us. What was that? Was that necessary? I think that was what screamed at us. Samuel. What is that? Oh my God. He got me again. That's awesome. I don't know what that is. It reminds me of something like from Chuck E. Cheese. I've never seen that before. Oh, it is Friday the 13th.
Uh-oh.
There's nobody there. Oh my God.
There he is.
Sam's a screamer.
Sam is a screamer.
Now back here is the vintage display room, and we're currently hosting a Friday the 13th movie marathon, and I think part 3 just ended, so we're about to start part 4 here in a second, but this is where we host events, so movie marathons all throughout the year. Anytime we have a celebrity guest, we always do the signings back here, and it changes up a little bit. Purple Couch moves out for those events, and autograph table comes out, and up on the wall you can see some of our past guests who have all signed the wall. CJ Graham is the one that started that. He said, and I quote, "When you're a celebrity, you can sign just about anything." Grabbed a Sharpie and headed over to the wall. And when Jason wants to sign your wall, you don't stop him.
Nope.
So that kind of started the tradition. And now they all take, like, it's a competition to him. So if y'all have ever met CJ is a very big dude. So he's like 6'4". And that's where he signed it. Now the others are like, let's see if we can sign it higher than CJ. So you got Tyler Maine way up there, which that was just natural for him because 6'9". Then Lee, just being Lee, was like, I'm just gonna stretch, and I put his way up there. So hopefully that wall continues to get filled up with all sorts of other like awesome guests. But we also try to set the ambience to this room with all sorts of vintage masks back here. So the oldest item back here is like 1940s with some of the old school paper mache stuff and 1950s trick-or-treating flashlights and Ben Cooper stuff. And I'm a huge mask collector. I love Don Post masks. It's what you primarily see in my collection, which you see quite a few of them in here in this room, but kind of stock it with some pretty rare stuff. And people just, sometimes come back here, hang out, watch the movies, and you got collectors that want to come back here, check out the masks and all that fun stuff. So, that was like like Don Post and all of these like vintage masks. That was like the inspiration for me whenever I started making. So a lot of the times, and it's like, which we just got back from Midwest Haunters Convention, and we had people that were like looking at my masks there, and they were like collectors. They'd come up and be like, I see a little bit of like Don Post in your paintwork. I see a little. I'm like, well, it's because that's a lot of the inspiration. So
Inspired by,
right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for showing us
Yeah.
around. Place looks absolutely amazing.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Hope you guys have a hard time keeping stuff on the shelves.
It's always a good problem to have.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us. This has been Ghostly Productions here in Owensboro, Kentucky. Let us know what you thought. If you want to find more spooky spots like this near you, get on our website, thescarefactor.com, and sign up for our newsletter. That's where we'll give you notifications about all our new haunt reviews coming out, new listings, new haunts near you, new spooky spots, new restaurants. I've got the next video linked for you right here. Watch out for Jason. I'll see you in that video. Until then, stay scary.